Greetings and thanks for tuning in. The S701 has come to War Thunder as this season's Battle Pass reward, a late war variant of the infamous S-Boot. This model differs in that it was fitted with forward and rear launching torpedo tubes. It also has a reload for each torpedo, giving it a total of 8 on board, which is more than most destroyers and the most fitted to any motor torpedo boat in the game. At first glance, it was written off by some as just another boat, but I immediately saw a lot of potential for an attack craft that can play at all battle ratings. I've spent the last few days experimenting with the different methods for using the boat and have been able to use it to pretty good effect. This video will show you a few methods you can use, as well as some existing torpedo tactics that you might not be aware of. I've had a break from War Thunder the last few weeks, playing the Ultimate Admiral's Age of Sail campaign. If you haven't already seen this series spamming your subscription feed, check it out as it would really help out the channel. And you'll be able to see some of the tactics that I use in War Thunder, which apply to naval engagements of all eras. Now, the first method I like to call the U-boat sniper, and this is how I would imagine submarine gameplay to go. We're going to play it, you've got enough torpedoes to act like a submarine, and we're going to make the most of the visibility mechanic. Basically, we're using torpedo mode, we're playing above battle rating 5.0, and we're on the encounter map, which only has one capture base per side, and there is something about these capture bases that you may not know. You can reload your weaponry at them. So these ships fitted with long-range torpedoes or missile attack boats like the USS Douglas can sit in the capture zone and reload their armament. So for this method to work with S701, we need to use torpedo mode, which gives us a range of 14 kilometers, but it does really hamper the speed to 54 kilometers. If you were to fire a torpedo at a maximum range target, it will take 15 minutes to get there. The benefits to this style of engagement is you are totally invisible to the enemy at range, and you have unlimited torpedoes, even in realistic mode. The cons are it's a slow torpedo, and you have a very low chance of getting kills. But if you put out enough torpedoes, you're going to hit something. Also, another hazard of this style of gameplay is if you're hanging around the fleet, you need to keep an eye out for overshots and also stray rounds. Once you reach the zone where you can reload, it's just a matter of putting out torpedoes through the forward torpedo tubes, turning around and shooting them through the stern. Because they're going very slow, a lot of the time the forward and rear torpedoes will be fairly close, so you'll have a 4 torpedo spread every minute or so. The stern torpedoes are away and you see like they're pretty close together. And we're just aiming for anyone that has a reasonably stable course, or we estimate the torpedoes will reach in a reasonable amount of time. Now, you're not going to win matches by doing this, but it can be a decent earner. And as you can see, you can get hit by overshots if you're near your allied ships. You have the potential to get a lot of kills and a lot of torpedo strikes, but unfortunately torpedoes are a little bit funny at the moment and they don't do what they should. The next tactic is one that's featured on my channel a few times, and that's the Cap Defender. Using various different vessels, you'll have varying degrees of success. The S701 is exceedingly good at this. Using torpedo mode, we can put out a spread that rivals that of a destroyer. You can see that we can match up our speed with our torpedoes. We're just waiting for the 4 ones to reload. And once they do, we're going to put a nice spread through this passageway. All of these ships are headed the same direction, and the chances are they're not really looking for us. The only real threat you'll have is enemy gunners and enemy coastal boats. Now that the 4 torpedoes are away, we can turn away and launch 2 through the rear, and so that makes for a 6 torpedo spread. The remaining 2 torpedoes will be sort of like aimed torpedoes. We fire them at targets specifically. The initial attack run here, I just placed them all in a line, not really aiming for anyone, and then the rear torpedoes are aiming for that Alaska. Using the smoke screen to get away and firing a few thank you torpedoes through is very satisfying, especially when it pays off. Now, it's important to note, do not take the capture zones first. That will alert the enemies to your presence. You should always take the capture zone after you've made your attack run so that you can get a kill just like we did here. Skill matters in that case. Sinking a USS Des Moines, a very, very good kill to death ratio so far. So many crew members going down on the Des Moines. Now that we are in our capture zone, we just need to rely on our silhouette being extremely small and using smokescreen when the gunners pick us up. I have a fair amount of luck avoiding this sort of situation and taking fire. Use another smokescreen, break the line of sight from any of the enemy gunners that may have seen us, just as our torpedoes are reloading. And now they've reloaded, we're going to send another 2 through the rear tubes at these cruisers. Even if you only get 1 or 2 kills in a little boat versus a large ship, it is a win. Always remember that. We're waiting for the second reload to come up. We've got 2 in the front. We're just waiting for another 4 to come on board. And we shall leave the combat zone. We're going to go around and try again. If you're going to do this at a lower battle rating, turn off torpedo mode so you can do it against destroyers, but also keep in mind that this drastically reduces the range of the torpedo. We've had a second hit from our first torpedo spread. We've taken down a USS Brooklyn. In this game I only managed to get 2 kills this way, but I feel like that was a success for a torpedo boat mission at 7.0. I don't really have a name for this tactic, all I know is it's the feeling that you get when you just need to get stuff done and you gotta do it yourself. Now the S701 is extremely good at this role because it has so many options in terms of close range encounters. The G7 torpedoes are good when you don't have torpedo mode on, 81 kilometers an hour, and they have a very large warhead against destroyers, 370 odd kilos. 701 has 8 torpedoes, so you just fire a torpedo at everybody you see. When you get the opportunity, you fire one, within 1 to 2 kilometers. Having front and rear gives you a lot of options, and having the reload lets you stay in the fight longer. A lot of the time with a torpedo boat, you really have to choose your target if you want it to pay off, especially in realistic. This boat doesn't really have that problem. The added benefit of this boat is it also has 6 depth charge launchers. So you play this like you would play any first person shooter. You move from sector to sector, you use cover to mask your line of sight, and when you come across an enemy you take them down. If you can't get them, you hide from them. Simple as that. As you can see, S701 just made short work of those guys, and your only real threat in this boat is its low survivability and other coastal boats and aircraft. I haven't had a lot of luck defending myself against aerostrikes in this. The gun traverse is a little bit funny, and they're so widely spaced that you just don't get hits. There may be other players that do better, but I haven't yet spoken to them about that. And so most of the enemy destroyers just got clapped in that engagement. You just spend the rest of the battle reloading your weapons, looking for targets of opportunity, and being hyper aggressive. Here comes a revenge kill in the form of a ME410. The funniest thing about this is I'm pretty sure he detonated my depth charges and it killed him because his bomb is still attached. I really hope that's the case because that's very funny. So I hope that's shed a little light on how to use this brand new torpedo boat, as well as other torpedo boats in the fleet that might have strong torpedoes. Make sure that you're subscribed, make sure you've liked the video, and leave me a comment telling me what you'd like to see. I'm going to try and increase the tempo of my videos in the upcoming month, so some ideas would be fantastic. Until next time, Commander Tyrael, out.